The United States military could single-handedly defeat the next 7 largest militaries on Earth combined. That's not propaganda. That's the terrifying reality of American military dominance in 2025. With over $1 trillion in annual defense spending and technology, decades ahead of its rivals, and everyone keeps asking, just how big is the U.S. military might? To understand the foundation of American military power, we turn to Global Firepower, GFP, an organization that annually evaluates the strength of 145 nations and assigns each a power index score. The closer that score gets to 0.0000, the closer it represents theoretical perfection. According to GFP's most recent data, the United States maintains its title as the world's premier military power with a Pure Index score of 0.0744. That puts it firmly at number 1, well ahead of every other nation on Earth. But what does that dominance actually mean in practice? It starts with manpower. The United States has a population of roughly 345 million, making it the 3rd largest nation behind only China and India. From that massive population base, GFP estimates that about 127 million Americans are fit for military service, and around 4.5 million reach military age each year. In essence, the U.S. has an immense pool of citizens who could serve, even if they don't wear a uniform today. Of course, in sheer manpower potential, America follows nations like China and India. Yet, the U.S. holds a unique advantage: the ability and the history of mobilizing quickly through conscription. For more than 30 years during the 20th century, the draft filled the ranks for World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Since 1973, the nation has relied entirely on a voluntary force, but the infrastructure and precedent for a draft still exist. Should the need ever arise, over 120 million Americans remain eligible for service, a staggering reserve of potential soldiers. Today, however, America's strength lies in its professional all-volunteer force. GFP reports about 2.07 million total military personnel, including 1.32 million active duty members. That ranks 3rd globally, behind only China's 2.035 million and India's 1.455 million. The U.S. also maintains roughly 765,000 reservists, one of the largest and most capable reserves in the world, though it has no paramilitary units. Yet manpower isn't just about numbers, it's about investment per soldier. The Pentagon spends roughly $160,000 annually per active duty service member, covering wages, housing, medical care, and advanced equipment. Compare that to China, where new recruits reportedly earn around $150 a month, or Russia, where underpaid soldiers often fight with outdated gear and minimal rations. The contrast is stark. America doesn't just have soldiers, it has the best trained, best equipped fighting force on Earth. When it comes to land power, the U.S. shows both strength and restraint. According to Global Firepower, GFP, America maintains about 4,700 tanks, 2,640 of which are modern, combat-ready M1A2 Abrams variants, placing it 5th globally. It also ranks 5th in self-propelled artillery with 1,600 units and 14th in towed artillery. But when it comes to vehicles overall, the U.S. dominates with roughly 360,000, proof of massive ground mobility. However, raw numbers can be deceiving. Russia, for instance, boasts nearly 14,800 tanks, 3 times more than the U.S., but many are outdated Soviet-era models. In Ukraine, Russian forces have been seen deploying T-54 and T-55 tanks from the 1940s, while Ukraine's defenders have destroyed thousands. In contrast, the U.S. relies on the far superior Abrams tanks, which, though older in design, remain vastly more capable and technologically advanced. Another key difference is how the U.S. fights. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has shown the consequences of poor coordination between ground and air forces. Moscow's inability to maintain air superiority or effectively deploy its navy has cost it dearly. The United States, on the other hand, operates through joint force integration, ground troops backed by overwhelming air and naval support. That synergy allows America to maintain fewer tanks or artillery units without sacrificing combat effectiveness. And in the skies, there's simply no contest. The United States leads the world with around 14,486 aircraft, including over 2,600 fighter jets, 896 attack aircraft, 957 transports, and 5,700 helicopters, 1,000 of which are attack models. It also fields 606 tanker aircraft, like Boeing's KC-46A, which can carry 212,000 pounds of fuel and refuel nearly any Allied plane mid-air. This ability gives U.S. air power unmatched global reach, allowing jets to strike deep into enemy territory without landing. By comparison, China has only about 10 tankers and Russia 19, highlighting just how far behind America's rivals are in sustaining long-range operations. Even more telling, the U.S. Air Force alone operates about 5,000 aircraft more than Russia's entire air fleet. Looking ahead, the U.S. is already developing sixth-generation fighters under its Next Generation Air Dominance (NGAD) program. With over $11.7 billion invested, NGAD will replace solo jets with a networked system of manned and unmanned aircraft. While China struggles to perfect its J-20, the U.S. is designing the future of air warfare where quality, innovation, and integration will continue to crush quantity. When it comes to ruling the seas, the United States Navy stands in a league of its own. On paper, its 287 to 295 active vessels may seem fewer than China's 730 or Russia's 781. But America's dominance isn't about quantity, it's about capability, technology, and global reach. The U.S. Navy operates 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, the largest and most powerful fleet in the world. Each one functions as a floating airbase, capable of launching dozens of fighter jets, helicopters, and surveillance aircraft. Alongside them are 9 helicopter carriers, 75 advanced destroyers, and 64 nuclear-powered submarines, second in number, but unmatched in stealth, endurance, and strike range. The secret to American naval supremacy lies in displacement, the measure of a ship's size and power. The U.S. Navy displaces an astounding 4.8 million tons of water compared to China's 2.2 million. That means U.S. vessels are larger, stronger, and more heavily armed. Bigger ships carry more weapons, more fuel, and more aircraft, giving them the ability to fight longer and travel farther without refueling. This global reach is what truly sets America apart. Its massive ships are built to operate thousands of miles from home, maintaining a presence across every ocean and guaranteeing worldwide military influence. The Navy's strength is amplified by joint operations. Its carriers serve as floating bases for both the Air Force and Marines, creating a seamless mix of air, sea, and land power. Together, China and Russia field only 4 aircraft carriers, highlighting just how far behind they are. Then there's the U.S. Marine Corps, 174,000 active troops and 33,000 reserves serving as the Navy's rapid response strike force. Experts in amphibious and expeditionary warfare, the Marines can deploy anywhere, anytime. Simply put, the U.S. Navy doesn't just patrol the seas, it owns them. The U.S. military stands as a powerhouse across every domain, third in global manpower, the undisputed leader in air dominance, and home to the most capable Navy on Earth. But what truly cements its status as the world's most formidable fighting force isn't just its firepower, it's something far more strategic in logistics. The ability to move, supply, and sustain its forces anywhere on the planet is what transforms America's military might into true global dominance. Let's start with assets. The United States has engineered its logistics network for mobility and rapid response. Its 957 fixed-wing transport aircraft allow it to move troops and heavy equipment across continents with precision and speed. This fleet means the U.S. doesn't have to rely on local infrastructure to mobilize. It can land where it chooses, when it chooses. On the seas, 14 expeditionary fast transports provide a flexible bridge between land and ocean operations. These shallow draft ships can carry 312 troops, vehicles, and even heavy land helicopters like the CH-53. Cruising at 35 knots, they can deliver reinforcements and supplies faster than almost any other military transport ship in the world. Combine that with 360,000 military vehicles, and the U.S. becomes a mobile army capable of global deployment at a moment's notice. But logistics isn't just about movement, it's about presence. The United States maintains an unparalleled network of around 750 overseas bases spread across more than 80 countries. This network acts as a global web of launch points for power projection and rapid response. Roughly 40% of these bases are small lily pads, under 10 acres in size and valued below $10 million. They're lightweight, flexible, and ideal for quick reaction missions. The other 60% are large installations hosting at at least 200 U.S. personnel and the heavy equipment necessary for sustained operations. These bases ensure the U.S. can strike or defend anywhere. For example, in the Indo-Pacific, America maintains 120 bases in Japan with over 53,000 troops, 73 in South Korea, and 7 in Australia, together housing 27,500 personnel. This regional footprint allows immediate response to Chinese military movements and provides staging grounds for Pacific operations. In the Middle East, the U.S. operates 10 bases each in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, along with roughly 2,500 troops in Iraq, ensuring a constant presence in one of the world's most volatile regions. This network forms the backbone of America's collective defense strategy, strengthened further by alliances like NATO, which binds 32 nations to defend one another under Article 5 of its charter. Through NATO, the U.S. can count on support from top militaries like the United Kingdom and France, effectively multiplying its combat power. Beyond NATO, America's bilateral and trilateral alliances enhance its reach even more. The AUKUS Pact with Australia and the UK focuses on next-generation military technology, including nuclear-powered submarines and advanced AI systems. Meanwhile, its trilateral cooperation with Japan and South Korea enhances coordination in East Asia through joint exercises and shared defense strategies. These partnerships aren't just political, they're operationally seamless. U.S. allies train together, share compatible equipment, and execute coordinated missions with unified command structures. You see, logistics is one of the invisible engines behind U.S. power. Aircraft, ships, bases, and alliances form a worldwide infrastructure that allows America not just to fight, but to fight anywhere, faster and smarter than any other nation on Earth. The United States is spending over $1 trillion annually on its military, with its goal being to both build and maintain the strongest fighting force the world has ever seen. And that goal may be more important now than it's been for the last 2 decades. With China rapidly modernizing its military, spending record amounts in the process, Russia showing increased aggression, highlighted by its invasion of Ukraine and turmoil in the Middle East, the U.S. needs to be ready for anything. The $1 trillion budget funds every aspect of this dominance. It pays for the most advanced fighters on the planet while simultaneously developing 6th-generation capabilities. It maintains the largest Navy and Air Force, with ships and aircraft that dwarf their rivals in capability, even when they move in pure numbers. It equips soldiers better than any other nation, spending $160,000 per service member annually compared to the pittance that adversaries invest in their troops. But perhaps most importantly, that budget buys technological superiority that's measured in decades, not years. While China struggles to fully operationalize 5th-generation fighters, the U.S. is already testing 6th-generation systems. While Russia deploys tanks from the 1940s, America fields continuously modernized Abrams. While adversaries struggle with logistics, the U.S. maintains 606 tanker aircraft that give its Air Force an effective unlimited range. The United States military in 2025 remains the most formidable fighting force the world has ever seen. That dominance rests not on any single capability, but on the combination of technology decades ahead of rivals, superior training and equipment for every service member, and alliance structures that multiply American power exponentially. The capability exists to project power anywhere on Earth within hours and sustain operations indefinitely. If you found this breakdown of American military might as mind-blowing as we did, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into global power military.